Hey guys, Xander Excitement here, and today is actually going to be a little bit of a tech tutorial, shot kind of amateurly. You'll see why I'm doing this. So, I don't have a reason to do this, but I want to. This is my laptop. This is a Dell Latitude E7440. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 250 gigabyte SATA solid state drive, Core i5 4 something processor, with a base clock of 1.9 gigahertz, but in this machine it tends to average about 2.5 to 2.6 gigahertz. And for what I need in a laptop, it's quite the nice machine. It's quite zippy. It's got enough power. I'd like a quad core, but you take what you can get, and it's definitely better than my Inspiron 620 desktop that I had. And I still have in the closet. I just ripped the hard drive out of it. But speaking of storage, this is going to be a video showing you how to upgrade the RAM, dedicated SATA, and or 2.5-inch regular SATA drives in this laptop. This might apply to other Dell Latitude E7 series machines, but that's a kind of slim chance. But like I said, this is for the E7440. What you want to do here first is flip the laptop over and pull the battery out. Really simple. I'd recommend flip the machine around here. Sorry about that, my roommate just came in. But anyways, after you've removed the battery, you need to remove two kind of small Phillips head screws. The screws are here and here. These two screws hold this metal cover at the bottom. Well, actually, I think it's plastic. Whatever material it is, cover onto the bottom of the machine. I'm gonna set the phone down here while I remove these because I could use a second hand. There's one. There's two, and do note these screws will not be retained by the machine. There's additional screws, not captive screws or whatever. And these are kind of small, so if you got too large or too small, a bit easily strip them. But once you remove the two screws, simply place your hand on this cover, slide it forward until you hear that noise, and just lift it right on off. And it's just that easy. Here you have your access to your two memory slots. These are DDR3 SODIMM slots. To move your RAM module, you just pop the clip on, pop the clips on either side, pops right up, and then you just gently pull it out. This machine can accept up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which this machine has. Ideally, with the configuration numbers this machine has, which is two 8-gig sticks. I think it'll run in dual channel. And to reinstall the memory, just line the notch up, pop her in, and then snap it down. Here you can see the wireless LAN card there. Here you have your SATA place and your SATA drive place. Now, one thing to note here, the machine came from the fact, whenever I got this machine, I had a 250 gig SATA drive, but it was not mounted here. It was actually mounted in this bracket, which is actually an SATA adapter bracket, which is kind of odd. But anyways, I'll show you first how you need to remove this SATA SSD. There's one screw you need to worry about. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the frame here. So here's what I'm doing. So we'll screw here at this corner. Again, it's a kind of small screw. If you just want to remove it, again, it's Phillips head. Mercifully, Dell used standard screws on this machine. The same driver you used to take the other screws out should work for this one, or this in this case. Once you remove the screw, you'll notice that the little SSD card is now sticking up a little bit. As you can see there. I want to lift it to this position, and then just pull it right on out. And it removes kind of like those RAM sticks, although in lieu of the 2 clips, you just have a single screw. And so look how small this thing is. It's pretty darn tiny. To reinstall it, just line out the notch, push it in, push it down, then you need to put your screw in and screw it back into place. Or, to move this SATA drive, you need to remove these 4 screws. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. There's one screw here, right next to the coin cell battery. There's a screw here, which is a couple of inches ahead of the airplane mode switch, and it's a tad, it's pseudo recessed. There's another screw you need to remove right here, I think, and then there's a 4th one, which is actually really close to the data connector, actually to the connector for that SATA drive. So I would actually recommend you disconnect this before you attempt to work on this SATA drive. You just pop the cable up just like that. It just removes. It is threaded through a couple of things. When you remove that, you get better access to that screw. You will want to, again, remove all 4 of these screws. Once again, set the phone down while I do that, because I'm a pleb who can't really afford or use a tripod. So I'm going to get the screw near that cable that we unplugged first. One screw. Gonna get the other one on the same side. So up here next to that battery. Comes out easy. And get the one across from that. Crap, wrong screw. There we go. And the last screw. One that's kind of in that corner. Okay. Anyways, once you have these 4 screws removed, the bracket will then just lift right on out of the machine. This is the bracket here, which has this SATA adapter on it. So the cable here is attached. You can just pop it right on off. And there's your SATA cable with this board connector here on the other end. I don't know if I just dropped it. So this can, well, I don't know if, I think you have to get another bracket to be able to use a 2.5-inch hard drive, because this one's already taken up by this, and there's no real way to remove it, it looks like. But if you want to, let's say, put this SATA SSD on this adapter, once again, you just take the adapter, line up the notch, plug it in. Trying to get this in the frame yet at the same time. I'm an idiot who doesn't even really know how to repair electronics. Okay, I can't really do this one-handed. But anyways, you just want to, once again, just don't push it quite straight in, because remember it has to be this angle. We'll insert it in this position here. You need to then just push it down and put the screw in. Again, this is just attached into this little adapter board here, which seems to me like it's pretty much just a pin converter. Kind of like some of those compact flash to IDE adapter boards. But anyways, so now this SSD is mounted onto this, and if I push on the other side, you can see it doesn't come up. So now to reinstall this into the laptop, and I'm going to show you how this works. You'll want to firstly pop the SATA cable back on. And I think I'm trying to put it on backwards. There we go, that's easy. Then you will want to line it up. With the way this seemingly factory SSD is, this side here with the sticker on it should be facing down. It should be up here, and this cable, it should be with the laptop oriented this way with the battery compartment away from you. This SATA connector here should be facing you with the cord coming out of the left side. So then just set it right back down in the laptop. It should go right back into place. Put your 4 screws back in, which I shall now do. Do keep in mind though, there are some crevices here you can potentially pop the screws down into. And when you do that, just use a magnet to retrieve it. Just put the first screw in, not the one near that cable, but it's on the same side. Do the one at the opposite corner. And nearly drop that screw into the machine. The second screw is in. And I'll go to the screw near that connector. And I would say after you put the screw in that is next to that cable, I'd say to plug it right back in, which I put that screw in here, so I'll show you how to do it. So I'll put in 3 of my 4 screws. First thing I want to do is route the cable through this little thing here, which is pretty easy. It just pretty much what it's doing is it's just making sure that the cover cannot pinch the cable. You have to be careful yourself to not pinch the cable, because otherwise you might just have to suck it up and put your SATA SSD into the actual SATA slot, or get a new cable. Acceptable. Now what you'll want to do is line this connector up, and you're kind of having to work blind here. But if you can see the connector, there where my finger is, what you do is you want to line it up with that. And push it down until you feel this distinct kind of click. And the connector should, in theory, be in. But we'll see if it is in or not whenever we put the laptop the rest of the way back together. I'm going to put the 4th hard drive screw in now. It's up here. After you've put these screws for the hard drive cage back in, you'll need to grab this cover. Set it down. You want to make sure your antennae are not getting in the way. They're not. And if you don't have anything installed in the SATA slot, you can kind of just rest them down in there. So you want to place it back here until it just goes back flush. And push it back towards you. Put the machine oriented this way. Then I'll put the 2 screws from before back in. Again, they go here and here. So I'll put those 2 screws back in. Screw the first one. And screw the second one. By the way, the kit that I'm using here for screwdriver and stuff, it's the iFixit ProTech toolkit. People rave about this online, and it deserves the praise. So go get it. They're pretty nice. You can see it there. Anyways, you'll want to then reinstall your battery. easy as cake. To then flip it over, open up the laptop. And this one was given by Computers for the Blind, and it's a refurb that wasn't the best refurb job. I'm going to turn the light off here. I'm going to hit the power button, and let's see if it begins to boot into Windows 10. And yep, it's booting up into Windows 10. Let me turn off TalkBack and try to use tap to focus on that. Should the camera work? Yep, there's the date and time. I'll put in my password.
Windows sign in. Pin password dead. Type in text. List box. Switch to Xander.
Yes, I use Windows XP sounds. As you can see, it's just signing me right on in. And we are at the desktop. So the SSD thing worked. Although it's just swapping the drive back to what it was originally in. But though, just because I feel like it, and because I think it's a placebo effect. I don't know why it does that. Maybe it's trying to map a network drive that on a network I'm not attached to. I don't care, Discord. I feel like it's probably a placebo effect, but I feel like the machine actually has slightly faster SSD access with it in the direct SATA slot. So I'm gonna shut the machine down.
Windows X. Context menu. Absolute features. The move right. Desktop. Shut down. Sign out. Restart. Shut down. U. Enter.
So shut down. See the glorious backlit keyboard. Doesn't hold a candle to my Logitech over on the desk, but it's a mobile computer. It's still pretty nice, but shutting down. I'm thinking what I might actually do is, I've got a Toshiba laptop at home I tried to sell on eBay, but I had some issues getting it shipped out, and eBay decided to auto-refund the buyer, which I guess you can see why they did that. But I think I'm probably just going to rip its 500 gig hard drive out and just get the proper bracket and put it into this thing here. But so anyways, I'm not going to try to video record this, but you'll hear me doing this. Battery, 2 screws. If you have to work on these machines, you can do this pretty quickly. Honestly, it's a really easy machine to work on. At least for these couple of things. You just flip it over, pull the battery out, take these 2 screws out, pop this cover off, and you've got access to a decent chunk of the machine. You can do most of the upgrades folks would want to do. Anyways. You don't need to, by the way, a little note here. Whenever I was telling you to disconnect that cable and showing you how to do it, you don't have to disconnect that cable. But I've found it's just easier and you don't run as much of a risk of, if you can't see, like I can't, you don't run as much of a risk of stabbing your cable with your screwdriver and potentially screwing it up and having to order a new one. So 2, 3. Four. She's out. Take the single screw. Pop the SSD out. Pop it into the SATA slot. Which, funnily enough, actually mounts the SSD upside down from the way it winds up in this bracket. And it seems to me as if this bracket was just specially designed for this machine, and it's not one of those 2.5-inch brackets inside of the special 2.5-inch caddy thing for this machine. But at the same time, it's got... Now, there just wouldn't be enough clearance, but... Anyways, so we've got the SSD popped into the SATA slot, so I'm going to reconnect the SATA cable, because I don't want to have to worry about a cable in my desk or a loose cable inside the machine. I just don't want to have to deal with that. Plus, it doesn't seem to cause any conflicts, because I'm guessing the laptop just knows there's nothing on that SATA port. Anyways, the first screw is in. Soon it'll be 2. And indeed, make that 2. And the third. And the fourth. And I didn't put the screw on the right spot, because I'm a bonehead. I guess it just comes with the territory. Fourth screw in the right spot this time. Anyways, I'll just pop the cover right back on. Looks like they've got a dedicated cutout in this cover, so that way the battery release latch can still be accessible. Okay. The WLAN antenna. But I'm thinking that 500 gig drive in, or I might just get a WD Blue 1 terabyte 2.5 inch drive. I'd go for SATA, but where it's a smaller form factor, the drives are going to be smaller in capacity and probably more expensive. And in my opinion, SATA is cool and all, but it doesn't have that much of a reason to exist. So I'll pop the battery right back in, open up the laptop, and let's see how long it takes to boot up now. With the drive in the dedicated SATA slot. But you see that it booted up like it passed the Windows logo screen quicker. And now it's so long it takes me to sign in. It didn't even enter my password, and it just there played the Windows XD startup noise. Let's see, I'm gonna sign in here. Yeah, pretty much instantaneous. And I did do a shutdown command, not asleep or hibernate. I actually did the shutdown thing within the Windows X menu.
Disk updater. 9:11 p.m.
Okay, so 9:11.
Battery 53%. Time.
2%. I need to get a new battery for this thing. The battery isn't holding that much of a charge. Good enough, I suppose. The thing is helped by the fact it's using SSD, so it doesn't have to keep spinning a platter. But yet at the same time, it's...
Page has 2 links. Insert, close button, maximize button, minimize button. Did you use control / to bring out the list of keyboard shortcuts? Connection problems, private.
I'm not having connection problems, Discord.
Alt F4, folder view lit.
I'm gonna put the driver kit back into the toolkit here. And if you're inclined enough to do so, the metal map, so the magnetic map that it actually mounts to inside of this fold-up kit thing, can actually kind of be used like a mini project map if it's on a level surface, because your stuff can and possibly will. I don't tear XNL. I forget what exact processors it has. So let me go into the device manager.
Device manager. Enter. Device manager. Control panel. Press by to switch preview. Device manager. Device manager. Level. Batteries closed. Voice command help. Print use load. Processors load. Level 2. Intel Core TMI 5 4300U CPU.
It's Core i5 4300U CPU at a base clock
Intel Core
of
TMI 5 4300U CPU at 1.90 GHz.
base clock of 1.9 gigahertz. Although for me it tends to stay at around 2.5 to 2.6 according to Task Manager. This thing is
Audacity. Audacity.
quite speedy. Like I just hit enter on Audacity and opens the program up in just a few seconds.
Control shift.
Which is better than my old system, which had a Core i3 2120. Which it was a higher clocked processor at 3.30 gigahertz, but this one's just faster in general.
Audacity. To move to an icon, press the
Because
Alt key.
clocks aren't everything.
Folder. Noise.wav. RDE no center. Sex offender. Sex.wav. Find a sex offender shuffle.wav. Enter.
I'm messing around with the Audacity noise reduction filter and the sex offender shuffle, and it actually works.
Space.
Still mono though.
Space.
I wonder what will
Alt C. Menu. Click pseudo stereo dot enter. Leaving
my
menus.
pseudo stereo
Pseudo. Enter.
plugin that I install on here do.
100%. Track view. Space.
Interesting effect, I don't like the reverb.
The state of Florida has asked us to disclose our sexual crimes to you. We were bad, but now we're good.
We're moving into your neighborhood.
You know we're
Trying our best to be functioning members of society. And I'm here to remove trouble. You're part of the sex offender shuffle. I'm Larry R. Tower, and I'll refrain from touching my neighbor's kids again. What I did was not too kind, but I'm a nice guy, oh come to find. Got a backyard and a real nice pool. Y'all should come over for a barbecue. Mix some drinks in my blender, but do keep in mind that I'm a sex offender.
Vernon Douglas is my name. My battery arrest is what brought me fame. But there's much more to know about me. I love to dance and I love to ski.
So to ski, why are you in Florida?
Alt C. Menu. Repeat switch. Repair. Reverb. Reverse. On.
You know what?
Adjustable fade. Apps play. Amplify. Enter. Leaving menus. Table. Away. 50. Enter.
You know what?
Panel.
Let's do it. Oh, it's all green.
What? Did you do echo on it? Yes, you did.
No. No. You're right.
Space. Undo.
How does that sound if I
Space. Space.
take out that
Alt C.
effect,
Amplify. Enter.
re-amplify it by 50?
Track panel.
Are you
Cable
still
sex offender.
recording a video?
Yeah, but I'll stop here. So I've done my thing.